Okay, so now we've got to talk about what profit actually means. So, as with so many things in economics, things aren't quite as simple as they seem. What we've said so far, yeah, is that profit is total revenue minus total cost, and that's kind of true. So if you were to go to your accountant, suppose I was running a business, yeah, and I went to my accountant and I said, okay, how much profit have I made? My accountant would say, well, okay, this year, Simon, you made revenue, yeah, of £150,000, and all of the costs that you paid, yeah, so your paid costs, yeah, so you paid, yeah, for your labour, you paid for your rent, you paid for your raw materials, and so on, yeah, was £145,000, and he says, therefore, congratulations, Simon, you have an accounting profit of £5,000. And I'd kind of go, well, great, not. Yeah, because it's like, well, what am I going to eat? Yeah, my children are going to say, Daddy, Daddy, why are we living in a cardboard box? £5,000, yeah, £5,000, it's not enough. Yeah, because I could go and do something else, couldn't I? I could go and work as a waitress in a cocktail bar, and earn £30,000. So if I was only earning £5,000 profit from running my business, what I do is I'd simply close it down. Yeah, I'd simply say, well, this is a complete waste of time, and I'd go away and work as a waitress in a cocktail bar. So how are we going to get around this problem? Because the firm is allegedly profitable, but actually it's going to close down because it's not making enough profit to cover the opportunity cost of my time. Yeah, I could go and, as I say, I could go and work in a different job and earn more. And economists get around this problem by saying, well, we're going to redefine costs. So the way we're going to define costs, economic cost, is going to be made up of my paid costs. So those are the costs of rent, costs of labour, costs of materials and so on. So that's the same as my accountant said. But we're also going to say, actually, we must pay the cost of Simon's time. If Simon could work as a waitress in a cocktail bar and earn £30,000, we should include that as part of the true cost of operating this business. The fact that I could have gone and done something else instead. So what would that mean for our calculation here? What we'd now see is an economist would say, okay, fine, revenue is the same. Our total revenue is the same. So total revenue is £150,000. What he'd now say, however, is that total cost is different. Our economist would say, and he or she would say, that our total cost is now made up of two bits. The £145,000 of paid costs, but also the £30,000 of opportunity cost. The fact that I could go and do something else instead. So the economist would say, well, in reality, Simon, your costs are £175,000. Therefore, you're making an economic loss of £25,000. And that's the way I would have seen it. Because I'd have said, well, look, the accountant says I'm making 5,000. I know I could have gone and worked as a waitress in a cocktail bar for 30, so therefore I'm £25,000 worse off. So, as far as an economist is concerned, then, we're redefining cost. We're coming up, and all the costs that you ever see in economics are this cost, that we're talking about here, So economic cost, what we're saying is it includes the opportunity cost of the entrepreneur's time. If you want to think of it a different way, you could say it's like the salary that the entrepreneur pays to himself, whatever. It's like it's the salary that the business owner pays to themselves. And that has to be included as well. So what that means now is, suppose total revenue equals total cost. If we take our example, let's suppose that the business's revenue goes up to I can't remember my numbers now. Let's suppose the business's revenue is 175,000 pounds. We said the costs were made up, or they are now anyway, of 145,000 pounds of paid costs. So that's my materials and so on. The 30,000 pounds of opportunity cost. Now, total revenue equals total cost. But I'm making just enough. I'm making the same as I would have made as a waitress in a cocktail bar. I'm making just enough to kind of say, okay, I'll keep on running this business. If total revenue equals total cost, this is called normal profit. So it's not zero profit. Where total revenue equals total cost, we're making just enough to stop me from leaving. A normal profit is therefore defined as the minimum profit or minimum payment, or minimum profit needed to keep factors of production in their current use. So it's the minimum profit needed to stop the entrepreneur from leaving. The minimum profit needed to kind of stop them saying, I will go and be a waitress in a cocktail bar and so on and so forth. So in a minute, we're going to talk about kind of the long run position of perfect competition. And we're going to end in a situation where total revenue equals total cost. Don't be thinking the firm isn't making any profit. The firm is making normal profit, is making just enough to stop the firm from leaving, or also to stop new firms from entering. And of course, what that means is that if total revenue is greater than total cost, we now have what we're going to call abnormal profit. We said if total revenue equals total cost, that's just enough because it includes the opportunity cost of the entrepreneur's time, or if that's confusing, it includes just enough to pay the entrepreneur a salary to themselves. That's normal profit. And if we're less than that, if total revenue is less than total cost, like the original example I gave you at the start of this video, where, remember this is total cost defined, total economic cost. So in the example I gave you right at the start, I was only making £5,000 accounting profit because total revenue was less than my total economic cost. I had an economic loss of 25,000 because I could have gone and earned more doing something else. Then we call that an economic loss. Even if my accountant says you've made £5,000 profit, I know in my heart of hearts that really I've lost £25,000 because I could have earned more doing something else. So total revenue equals total economic cost, normal profit. Total revenue more than total cost, abnormal profit. Total revenue less than total economic cost, that's an economic loss.